In this video, we're going to be looking at methods of collecting data. And so there's several ways to collect data for a statistical study, but the objective of the study will often determine which is the best method for collecting the data. And there's 4 different methods that we're going to talk about today. The first one is an experiment, and this imposes a treatment on individuals in order to collect data on their response to a treatment. For example, this could be a medical treatment. Maybe you have one group that takes a placebo, so that isn't taking the medicine, another group that is, and you see the results of that. Another one could be maybe you're looking at plant growth with and without water. You're imposing some kind of variable there. Next, we have an observational study, and this observes individuals and measures variables without controlling the individuals or their experiment. So this is different than experiment. In the experiment, we imposed a variable there, like withholding with water or giving water to a plant. This one, we are just observing it. And this is used when it's difficult to control or isolate the variable being studied, or maybe it's unethical to subject people to a treatment. A survey is an investigation of one or more characteristics of a population, and this is when every member of a sample is asked one or more questions. And then lastly, we have a simulation, and this uses a model to reproduce conditions of a situation or process so that the simulated outcomes closely match the real-world outcomes. And this allows you to study situations that maybe are impractical or dangerous in real life to do. And this is usually using some kind of computer to simulate it. So let's practice identifying methods of data collection. So we're going to identify the method of data collection each situation describes. Number 1 says a researcher records whether people at a gas station uses hand sanitizer. So here, the researcher is gathering data without controlling the individuals or applying a treatment. It's just observing what's happening. So this means that this is an observational study. Number 2, a landscaper fertilizes 20 lawns with a regular fertilizer mix and 20 lawns with a new organic fertilizer. The landscaper then compares the lawns after 10 weeks and determines which fertilizer is better. So here we see a treatment is being applied to some of the lawns. There are some lawns that have the regular fertilizer mix and others that have a new organic fertilizer. So since there's some kind of treatment that is happening, this is going to be an experiment. Okay, number 3 says members of a student council at your school ask every 8th student who enters the cafeteria whether they like the snacks in the school's vending machines. So here we see the students are all being asked a question. They're being asked whether they like the snacks or not. So that means that this is a survey. And then lastly, we have that a researcher uses a computer program to help determine how fast an influenza virus might spread within a city. So here we see that the researcher is using a computer program. They're not actually spreading the flu throughout the city. Obviously, that would not be a good idea, but they're using a computer program to see how fast it could spread. So because of that, this is going to be a simulation.